Good morning, everyone. This is Brandon Baines from Wealth Builders. I will start the real estate seminar in regards to Real Estate 101. I just want to say hi to everyone out there, and let's get this party started. So, the great thing about our Real Estate Seminar 101, as we're going to start off with, is going to be about financing. Sorry, I kind of didn't really get a chance to get you some nice slides, but next week I'll have all the slides ready for you guys. I'll be providing a little bit more information and probably some PDF files for you all to be able to download. So I just want to first introduce myself. My name is Brandon Baines, and I am with the Wealth Builders. I currently practice real estate in Atlanta, Georgia. And all this information is pretty much going to be FHA guidelines, VA guidelines, conventional guidelines that will automatically be utilized throughout the United States. Some stuff will be Georgia specific, and some will be other state specific. So hope you guys find my information very useful, and if you have any questions, any feedback, feel free to provide it with me, and I'll be more than happy to share with you guys and go from there. So let's get this started. So FHA financing will be our first topic. That's typically the first financing option that most people utilize. It's going to be your FHA. FHA provides you with the minimum amount of money to put down on a house. FHA guidelines starts at 3.5% down. And typically when you're starting with FHA, I know everybody's heard, FHA guidelines are that you have that 3.5% down and a minimum credit score of, lights playing. There we go. FHA minimum credit score is 580. But actuality, the minimum credit score for FHA is a 500 credit score. The only difference or the caveat for that 500 credit score is that you have to put 10% down. So that's right. You can qualify for a mortgage for FHA with a minimum of 10% down. That allows you to purchase a house and you just have a little bit more liquid cash. Also, FHA is a wonderful benefit due to the fact that it also gets you into a house with the least amount of money down, and it also provides you with the best closing costs or down payment assistance. So FHA, like I said, is going to be a 500 credit score if you want to do with the 10% down, and 580 if you want to do 3.5%. The difference in FHA and conventional loans is FHA does require you to pay PMI for the life of the loan. So what that means for you and for you all out there trying to purchase a house is PMI insurance is an insurance for the lender to protect, or the government to protect themselves if you so happenly don't pay your mortgage. So with this opportunity or this insurance, it doesn't go against your principal or your interest. It's strictly just insurance. To me, that really doesn't mean a benefit. Again, when we're out here as a wealth builder and we're trying to generate income or try to minimize cost on stuff or items that you want to pay for, you don't want to be paying PMI insurance, because PMI insurance really doesn't drive any benefit towards you. Sorry about that. Got a little cold going on. But this is just one of the lending practices that they kind of typically do. And for FHA, it's for the life of the loan. The difference mainly between FHA and conventional is FHA does have a lot higher guideline on debt to income ratio. So you can have more debt with an FHA loan than you can typically have with a conventional loan. That's one of the reasons why most people go to conventional. FHA is because they may have a high debt ratio and they really just want to get into a house. One of the benefits I do love about FHA guidelines are that you can get into a multi-dwelling unit. What does that mean? So A multi-dwelling unit is up to 4 family dwellings. So that means you can have a 2-bedroom here that you and your family live in. You can have another 2-bedroom unit in the house, and then you can have another 2-bed unit in the house, and another 2-bed unit in the house. Some call it a quadplex. You have a duplex, which is only 2 units, a tripleplex, which is 3 units, a quadplex, which is 4 units. The amazing thing about this is you can generate money just by having a house. So somebody's essentially paying your mortgage while you're living there. So you're essentially living rent-free. I love that, especially when you're thinking about really investing your money or saying, you know what, I want to get a home, but I'm afraid of the mortgage. I work with a lot of clients that's kind of essentially on that borderline where they really want to purchase a house, but they're afraid of taking that mortgage payment on by themselves. So what I typically recommend, in Atlanta, duplexes are like, they're great investments, but they're hard to come by. You're not going to see too many on the market. Investors are gobbling them up due to the fact that it's a great cash source. I mean, it definitely pays your mortgage. It helps build out wealth. And like what I always tell people is, I mean, if somebody's going to pay your mortgage, why not? It's just like pretty much renting an apartment and leasing it out. So as a wealth builder and somebody's trying to generate wealth for themselves, if you're definitely on the borderline and you're like, man, I want to purchase a house, but I really don't want to take on that entire financial risk of purchasing that home, I would consider doing a multi or a duplex unit. And that's throughout the United States due to the fact that you can rent. A lot of people are a little hesitant with Section 8 and allowing people with Section 8 housing to move into their houses, but I'm definitely not an issue with it. There's actually a formula that you can utilize that I will share on my next video, or when I get into more of the FHA, more in depth. Sorry about that, guys. More in depth FHA guidelines in regards to what HUD requires or what HUD does provide for the minimum of certain bedroom counts. So, for instance, it's based off of zip code. You can also check your Section 8 and go based off of your zip code and the state and the city. This lets you know what's the minimum or the max that Section 8 will pay for a 4-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, a 3-bedroom house. In certain zip codes in Atlanta, they have to pay up to $1,790 a month for a 4-bedroom house. So it's based off your zip code. So imagine $1,700 on a $265,000 mortgage. I mean, that is just amazing. They're pretty much essentially paying your entire mortgage. I mean, you're going to be coming pennies on a dollar. And if you're talking a 4-unit and then you have another 4-unit on the other side that you decide to live in, I mean, you're only paying about, if you're close to about $1,900 to $2,000. So you're coming out of pocket at $300. That's cheaper than mortgage. That's cheaper than rent anywhere you can go throughout Atlanta or probably in your major area. Again, it is based off of demographical areas and zip codes and cities. So you would have to check with your local area or your local city to see exactly what your HUD requirements are going to be or how much you're going to have to pay for your HUD requirements. But again, this is just amazing because you can save money. You can start building wealth. And your minimum requirement is you have to just be in a house for a year. So imagine that. You're not in a house for a year, circumstances change, you know, you kind of want to upgrade or you want to purchase a new house. You can throw a renter in there, and guess what? They're paying your entire mortgage plus some extra income for you and your family. Now, I know a lot of people probably are not informed about this or in tune to this, but did you know that with your mortgage lender, and you have to talk with each individual mortgage lender because there's a certain criteria that you have to allot or make off your investment property that will allow you to purchase another home, and then they'll use your second house as an income source. So for instance, if you're paying, let's say your house is $200,000, that's probably about a $1,500 to $1,600 mortgage. And this is roughly speaking. You're paying $1,600. You have a 2-bedroom unit, which is paying $1,000. And then you're paying another 2-bedroom unit, and that's paying, let's say, $1,200. That's $2,200. And your mortgage is $1,600. You subtract that $2,200 from that $1,600, you're looking at essentially $800 worth of value or income additional to your mortgage. Certain mortgage companies will allow you to use that as an income generator, and they will deduct what your mortgage payment is against your debt to income ratio. So that means essentially it won't go against your DTI, which is your debt to income ratio. And again, I'll get a lot more involved with these terminologies as time comes past. I'm just kind of giving you different steps or different ways of utilizing an FHA mortgage in order for you to purchase a home and then start making income. And then long term, you can actually purchase another house and then say, hey, I got an income producing property. And then later down the line, let me buy a house for my physical self. But that money is working for you because you have already purchased a home, and the renters is paying your mortgage. So now you have a house that you physically are making money on, and then you have an opportunity to actually sell that home or rent it out and keep it as income producing. And then you can purchase a house, and then they're paying some of your mortgage towards your house. I mean, real estate is a reason why they say it's a #1 asset producing or wealth building option in the world. And most people utilize it is because it's just a cash cow. And you cannot create land, and it can't be destroyed. So you've got land. It's a scarcity, and it's a great opportunity to really start investing your money and making it work for yourself. And there's other avenues of also pulling out that liquid cash that you have generated from your home into your bank account. Real estate really essentially allows you to do a lot of different maneuvers that will help you essentially purchase homes or to build wealth, to open up equity lines of credit. I mean, there is so many platforms out here that will allow you to do this. Now, guys, if you guys got any questions, make sure you feel free to let me know. We do have a live chat going on, so I'm more than happy to hear it. But I just really wanted to make sure I get over the FHA guidelines in regards to it. And my next thing would be conventional loans. Now, I didn't get too in depth with FHA. This is kind of just like a brief synopsis of just different types of purchasing, financing tendencies that we can utilize. So you have FHA, and now we're going to go to conventional. Conventional is typically the most ideal way to finance your home due to the fact that it's going to be a 620 credit score. That's going to be their minimum typically, but there are a lot of down payment assistance programs that allow you to essentially get into different conventional loan products. So when you guys go into Ty's webinar, which is the credit repair, he'll essentially get you up to that 620 credit. When you're thinking about getting your 620, think about this: conventional loans, once you get a 22%, oh God, bear with me, first webinar. Once you get up to about 20% appreciation or loan to value ratio on your home, you don't have to pay PMI insurance. So that's only with conventional. FHA is for the life of the loan. So for conventional, once you get that 22%, the PMI drops off automatically. So you're not paying insurance. There's loan products out there that essentially will allow you to get into a house, and then you can have a secondary mortgage that will prevent you from paying PMI. And I am a big promoter for not paying PMI. Essentially because I just don't believe in it. It's just insurance, and it's really, it's insurance for you to pay your bills. It's not insurance like, oh, it's going to protect the house if it burns down or anything like that. It's insurance for you to pay your bill. So imagine you're throwing out $200 a month on PMI insurance. That's like $200 thrown in the trash because it doesn't go into your principal balance. It doesn't go into the home. It's just insurance, and it's a fee for it. So think about that $200 going into your principal. That can save you thousands and thousands of dollars on back end of your mortgage, which is a great way or a great avenue to save more money and let your money work for you in the long run. So again, a lot of these avenues are just great resources. So I'm sorry to jump off topic about the conventional loan. I'm just very passionate about not paying PMI insurance, as you can see. So as I was saying, Conventional loans are typically 620 credit score. That is the minimum that's required for your conventional loans. Conventional loans, like I said, are 80-20. Once you get to 20% accumulation of appreciation for your home or loan to value ratio, you don't have to pay PMI any longer. And also typically conventional loans do have better interest rates. Don't get caught up on interest rates. I mean, they do get hiked. They do affect your buying power and your loan amount. But at the end of the day, as a wealth builder and as a person that really wants to teach financial literacy about real estate and try to develop your purchasing power and understand how amortization works, you don't really want to be sitting out here trying to pay a 30-year mortgage. And most people look at it and say, oh, my interest rates, my interest rates, my interest rates. But if you're more of a, what I call a savvy buyer, you're not really, interest rates does play a part, don't get me wrong. But if you're trying to pay down your interest rate or pay down your principal, you're not really concerned about interest rates. Because, for instance, if I'm going to beat amortization, I'm not going to finance my house for 30 years. I might finance for 15 years, and I'm putting more money into my principal balance at the back end. I'm never going to pay, let's say, for instance, the interest or the principal interest is $150,000. I'm never going to pay $150,000 in interest. I'm going to more likely pay about 80 or 70 because I'm beating that compound interest by paying on top of my mortgage. And that's what I mean by really building wealth, understanding the real estate market and understanding how amortization works and how to save money on the back end of your mortgage, because you don't want to be giving away money. If money can work better for you, it's better for it to work for you than it to work for the bank, and they're making all this money off of your interest. And typically, most people don't understand is the average consumer lives in a house 5 to 7 years. Typically, after 5 to 7 years, life changes. You're going to have some children. Your life circumstance going to happen. You may move out of state. It's just a lot of multitude of things that happen throughout life that's going to change. So the average consumer only lives in a house 5 to 7 years. So when you think about that, you're not paying 30 years of interest. You're paying 5 to 7. So even thinking about when you're thinking about financing certain things into your home, like refrigerators, appliances, you have to go in with a strategic plan on how you're essentially going to make moves on your home. It's not all about just the purchase price or the interest rates. It's other things that's included into this. And I know a lot of people are like, man, well, interest rates. Like I said, man, it's really about sitting down and figure out what's the best strategic move for you. And I always recommend to talk to a lender, because they can give you the financial guidelines on, hey, this is what the interest rate is. This is how much interest you're going to be looking at essentially at this price point, and certain things that have you not. Also, just to give you guys an update, in 2019, conventional is supposed to be increasing its loan amount from where it starts from jumbo. I believe it's coming out for 2019. The new conventional guidelines is going to be 486.95. I know it's like 30-something thousand. I think the current one is 453. So we're looking at $453,000 is the minimum, the max that they will do for a regular conventional loan before you jump into jumbo. And they're jumping up $31,000 from conventional jumbo loan to just regular jumbo. So when you're thinking about that, you're getting a little bit more buying power. Now, jumbo loans typically do carry a better interest rate because it is such a larger loan. But that's typically for anything over, right now for conventional it's $453,000. In 2019 it'll be 486. So anything over 486 and above would then allow you to pay just more of the actual house, and you get you into a jumbo loan. So like I said, there's a lot of multitudes into it, and with that, conventional loan I typically think is one of the better loan products. The best loan product, I believe, and again, we're just going over some just different types of loan products that's going on in the world today that we utilize in order to finance real estate and essentially the regular residential side. The next one is going to be VA loan. One of my favorite loan products. I definitely promote and market this the most to consumers that are definitely looking to purchase a house, really don't want to have any money down. And you you essentially served for us. So we appreciate your service. And this is the way essentially the government is giving back to you, saying, you know what, let me get you into a home. Let me help you buy a house. So VA loan is one of the best loan products out there, hands down. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. They actually don't have any PMI insurance at all for the entire duration of the loan product, as well as it allows you to come with a minimum amount down. VA loan also allows a seller to pay down some of your debt to qualify for a mortgage loan. So for instance, if you're in a negotiation with a homeowner and he's like, well, we're $30,000 off, but the lender tells you, hey, if you get $5,000 paid down by your house, to purchase a house, or you pay $5,000 of your debt down, I can actually qualify you for that $30,000. You can go to the seller and say, hey, if you pay down my debt of $5,000, increase your sale price, and this is just a strategy in order to get into a house. You pay my debt off by $5,000, we add it to the loan of the house. Then guess what we can do? I can purchase this house for you. So they can pay your debt down in order for you to qualify for a mortgage loan. They can also pay your closing costs. They can assist with closing costs. They can assist with your down payment. But it's 100% financing. So you really essentially don't have to pay any down payment. VA loan is the only loan that you can get money at closing, baby. Yeah, that sounds really deep, right? So a VA loan, you can essentially get your closing costs. You can get paid at closing. I think this is like one of the best loan products, and I don't think I know this is one of the best loan products out there. FYI, I know a lot of people say, well, what would it take for me credit-wise to essentially get into a home with a VA financing? So VA financing is a little different. The lender guidelines or the government guidelines for VA loan is actually, they have no minimum credit score. It's really essentially based off of the lender. So it's at the lender's discretion on what they utilize. And every lender has a minimum criteria. So don't get it misconstrued. Like, you can just talk to the lender and say, hey, John from VAloans.com, and I want to purchase a house. I'm a VA vet, and my credit score is 590. Well, that lending, they might say, well, our minimum credit score for VA financing is 630, 640. It just depends on the lender. So they don't have no minimum. So if you find a lender that says, hey, I can qualify you and get you in a VA loan at 500 credit score, that's awesome. And I would definitely take that, because there is no minimum, and it'll definitely get you into a house with 100% finance. And all you have to do is come up with your earnest money, and you can get in the house in 30, 45 days. I think it's typically 45 to 60 days it takes for VA loans to close or finance. But this, again, is one of the best lending options out there on the market. You just have to serve the country, and it's a certain period that you have had to been serving with us. But again, like I said, this is literally the best financing option there is available. And VA loan is accepted throughout everybody. There's some agents, when you go out here and you try to finance a home, they might say, hey, we don't want to deal with it. We don't really want to deal with VA financing. They're just not really savvy about the process of VA loans. VA loans definitely give you a great opportunity. The only thing is the appraisals typically come back a lot more strict on the guidelines, but that's just an obstacle you have to overcome at that time. And having an efficient agent and a seller agent to kind of really get the comps together and say, hey, this is the value that we're looking at in the neighborhoods. This is what we're looking for. Hey, let me show you what we have. Make sure you be there for your appraisers, so that they can make sure that they're making a great decision, because sometimes appraisers aren't familiar with the area. It just happens. Don't forget, appraisers based off of the bank. So the bank is, at the end of the day, trying to protect their money by making sure that these appraisers are really strict on the guidelines, and making sure that when the appraisals come back, they're tight and they're going to scrutinize it, because they don't want to overappraise a house. That's why pretty much essentially some of the market has crashed, or you're seeing houses where they have an appraisal issue because they're overpriced, or they got to come down, because real estate is really based off of what you as an individual are willing to pay for that house or that property. the value is only based off of a person's individual. So if I think that a house is only worth 350 and I want to offer 350,000 despite what goes on in that market, I'm willing to pay that. I'm going to pay that 350. For you, you might say, you know what, I'm not willing to pay 350. I think the house is only worth $320,000. So we got a $30,000 discrepancy. Buyer A, 350, buyer C, 320. But the appraisal comes back at 315. Uh-oh, buyer A would either have to come up with the difference in the financing or they're going to have to drop price. So that's what I mean by I say essentially you make the decision on how much you want to purchase that house and if it's the right house for you and if you're going to make that difference. But the value is based off of an individual. It's not based off of some list that we just create and say, hey, this it is. There's comps that support the price. But at the end of the day, you don't have to pay that price. There's a certain amount of price point that an area will automatically gravitate to. For instance, like in Atlanta, Georgia. I currently sell new construction in Lithonia, Georgia, which is really super close to 20 and Stone Mountain and close to the new city of Stonecrest. So this property, these homes are right now in building and new construction. We're currently priced at about 250 as our average price point, and that's the perfect entry level for that market. But as builders start to build out, they phase out, prices go up. So I can have potentially a $30,000 price increase within the year, and it won't be just $30,000 slam dunked on you. It'll be $30,000. It'll be a $5,000 or a $10,000 increment that'll essentially make you pay the difference in it. So when you're thinking about these type of things and purchasing your home, all of this plays a factor in. And what I mean by appreciation in houses and prices, that 250 is just a major number in the Lithonia area in new construction because the market can't bear anything beyond that. We can't sit out here and sell a $300,000 product and the market can't bear it because that means all the houses are going to do is sit. So think about that when people sit here and say, oh, well, the price point is this or the price point is that, but it's based off of the geographic area. You can't get a new construction home in the city of Atlanta at $250,000. The price just doesn't work there. We're looking at, I think our entry detached is probably over $500,000. I think that's the cheapest I've seen on a detached in Atlanta. Townhomes are going at almost $500,000 in Atlanta, depending on what area, Pacific area you're talking about in the physical city of Atlanta. But again, these are the different financing options. We went over FHA. So let's just give you a brief synopsis of FHA. Minimum credit score is 500. You do have to come with 10% down. And like I said, FHA has the highest DTI or debt to income ratio than any of the lending companies that are out there. They're typically about 50. I think they can go up to about 53 to 55 on the back end. Front end of the house. Of your debt. And you want to kind of start at like the 30s to be on your back end. So they have the highest debt to income ratio. Your conventional is going to typically give you the better interest rate, and they are typically 20% down. But like I said, you can find different lenders that will offer different options or loan options. Like I had a lender that offered 1% down conventional, and then they gifted the other 9% towards you. So they're gifting you a certain percentage, but you're still in the conventional loan, and you still get a great deal, and it's 1% down. So that means like if you had a credit profile, like I said, Ty will help you get to the credit portion of whatever you need to in order for you essentially to get your home. But if you can get your credit profile up to like a 640 or something like that, you qualify for different programs that allow you to purchase different homes and essentially get you qualified for the best investment there is, which is a home that's going to make you money. It's an appreciation. Homes always appreciate in value compared to a car. So like I said, that 620 can essentially, with the 20% down, you're going to have a better interest rate, and they're just a little bit more strict on your debt. They don't want high debt to income ratios. I think that typically the highest they go for is like 50%, if that. I think it's like 48, 45. So That's typically what you're going to get with conventional F, and then you're going to have your VA loans. And VA loans is at the lender's discretion on credit score. So I don't typically give out guidelines on how much you need or what credit score you need to hit to get to a VA loan, because every lender is a case by case scenario. But typically, you're not going to find too many lenders under 580 that's going to really do it. And finding a 580 lender to do a VA loan is quite hard, just to be mindful. So just keep that in mind when you're actually considering that and you're thinking about that. Is the better your credit score, the better you're going to get qualified. That easier it is going to be for you to qualify. Back channel all this, because I also forgot to tell you guys, and I know I'm kind of throwing out a lot of information, but make sure you guys enter the comments, ask questions. If this is a lot of information, I can get a little bit more in depth, show you how debt to income ratios work, credit score, how it affects your mortgage payment, things of that nature. We're going to get a little bit more involved in each webinar. This is my first one, so I'm just essentially trying to just give you guys a spearhead of exactly what types of information that I can provide. And this is just lender finance, and we haven't even talked about appraisals, surveys, insurance, appreciation, how to find a valuable property, the difference between land development and how much it costs to develop land, just an array of things that's generally just in a real estate market. I think that every buyer should be aware of and have knowledge of before purchasing a home. Again, we're going to next go to unconventional loans, which is hard money loans. Hard money loans typically have the highest interest rate due to the fact that there's a higher risk factor. Typically, you might be looking at 12 to 15% interest when you're looking at a unconventional loan or a hard money loan. And these typical loans, you're not going to stay in a loan long. You might be in there for a few months on that loan because you're typically going to refinance out. And this is more for your investor side. Caleb will go a little bit more in depth on investors like wholesaling and things of that nature. But that's typically what a lot of wholesalers or flippers utilize. Is going to be hard money until you really get the liquidity of what you need in order for you to, that's the best way to say it, not have to get that kind of financing, that unconventional financing. It's a lot quicker. And the reason why they charge such a premium on their money is due to the fact that it's a higher risk. So they're going to ask for a lot more information about property specific information in regards to what's the ARV, after repair value, because they're putting their money down based off of what you potentially get on the house and with the potential risk. Typically, you're going to have higher interest rates due to the fact, especially if you're just a first-time flipper. As you gradually get your portfolio and you've done a little bit more behind the scenes, then you potentially can get the interest rates lowered, or you can negotiate different terms. But it's a case-by-case scenario. So if this is your first time flipping and you go with a hard money loan, think about it like this. I'm going to probably have more of a higher interest rate. But that's more of a reason why you get a savvy real estate agent that knows the market, that can get the house for the top dollar and move the unit quickly as possible. Because in the day, you want to be working on money-making activities. If you're a flipper, you don't want to be sitting here trying to think to a real estate agent like, well, he's just a commission. Because in the day, you need to be working on your next deal. Where can I find my next deal? How can I move it? Let the real estate agent focus on selling that property, getting the top dollar, marketing it, and getting it out there so that you can be getting the return on your investment. You pay professionals for a reason, because they're professional in the market. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to make a better return on your investment compared to you sitting out here and not making a great investment. So with that being said, that is mostly most of our lender background and information in regards to lending. If you guys have any questions in regards to it, let me know. But I am more than happy to share with you guys. I was trying to check the chat box to see if I had any updates on chat. Nobody seems to appear to be asking any questions at the time. So I just wanted to make sure you guys were very in tune with our real estate course 101. This, again, is more on the residential side or for personal properties. But there's other avenues in order to utilize your money to make better investments on real estate besides just wholesale and flipping. If you're just a regular individual that just really wants to just buy a house, but kind of want to make a sound investment and kind of make it work for you, if that makes sense. My name is Brandon Baines. I am an instructor here with the Wealth Builders. I'll be on here on every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 to 11:30. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions, provide you with any feedback, any information that help provide you in purchasing your first home. And also get you more in tune with what the lending practices are. And we'll also be doing some live seminars with some lenders that I work with, some investors, even a developer. Like I said, I do work for a developer, so I'll be able to get you guys some background information on land development, contractors, all sorts of those natures, so that you can be more in tune with real estate and how it can help you get you to the next level and start investing in yourself. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me. And again, if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to me on the Wealth Builders. Also, you can find me on Instagram at It's Already Sold. Website coming soon, and it will also be linked on Ty's website soon. And I want to provide Ty with as much information and you all as much information as possible so that you guys can go out there and be savvy real estate investors so that you can start generating wealth for you and your family by the end of the year 2019. That's what we're talking about. So you guys have a blessed day, and I look forward to it. Stay focused. Remember, real estate is the #1 wealth building way for everybody. And keep joining us on Wealth Builders. I hope this information that I provided with you today helps you and assists you in purchasing a home. And if you got any more particular questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you and have a great day.